Hey, Mark Jackson, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Serial, and Sigilite of the FLG, and I'm Seth, the Mad Doctor competitive correspondent. And we definitely didn't already try to start this show once and realize no one was watching.
But we did see that there's Mark Jackson in the chat, so Seth decided to call him out. Seth, you're back, man. I missed you. You're my one and only. I can't do this without you. It was great having Val and the Killzone guys here the past couple weeks. But okay, and Rich. And so I missed. Sorry, our tech priest. I really am bad at using his pseudonym, stage name. But Seth, I really missed you, dude. Good to have you back. I know that you've had a whirlwind of past few weeks, but I gotta kind of show off, man. I've been painting like a madman. Can we show my hobby progress right now? Let's bring that there. So if you're listening to our podcast, you should be watching our podcast live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you get these cool visual elements as well as get to be part of the chat with on Facebook.
I've got a full squad.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know. Okay. So Seth, you see this? So if you see, Seth, can you describe what we have right here?
Well, we have a very a fully painted squad of Hearthkin warriors. It's very much what I would call a Kicker palette of paint. Because it is all in muted grays and greens and brown basing. Because Kicker loves his muted colors, despite me telling him that this army had to be painted in vibrant colors.
Didn't you say they were going to be super bright?
He did, Tech Priest Sticky. He did say they were going to be
everyone
super
can
bright.
hear me, by the way. Yeah, I thought that you said everyone it was going to be like super bright. Kicker, what happened?
Yeah, so I really wanted to go with. Sorry if you heard the squeak toy in the background. My dog found a very loud chew toy and was going crazy. Oh, did I mean? No, okay, we're good. We're good. Sorry, we're good. Totally professional this show. My dog was just going insane with the chew toy, guys. Yes, I did promise to go bright, and guess what? I lied. I tried like 30 different things. I spent a good $40 on paints trying to try all these different color palettes, and at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I like this green. I like this green that I've done on like 20 different armies. It's easy, it's fast, and it honestly it does kind of fit the vibe here, right? These are no nonsense, not fancy, not creative. These are dwarves. They're just there to get the job done. So these are my Votan in a very simple militaristic scheme. But Seth, I know you have been very busy. Explain to us what you have been working on.
Yeah, I'm back. I also managed to get my hands on some Votan, and as you see, went with a bit more of a brighter color scheme. I'm actually trying to do a lot of this with contrast and speed paints because we had Adam on a while ago to talk to us about the speed paint system, and we've had the new contrast paints released. So I really wanted to try to use those as kind of the foundation for a lot of what I do with these models. One, to speed things up, but to two, really see can those be used as the base for you to build off of. So that's I've done a few little modifications.
Yours? You described mine. Yeah. I'm going to describe yours. Guys, we've got a beautiful mini here. Yellow, I guess, clothing, yellow face mask, and then is that a black or a dark gray for the armor, Seth?
It's black with highlights of purple.
Cool. And the thing that I love so much, that's actually a really good combo. The thing that I love is the basing too, man. That bright pink tough really gives that alien world vibe and works well with it, man. Honestly, you win the painting competition, but I got the numbers, man.
All right. Well, you had a head start. You had a bit of a head start. The other thing I did, if you're looking at the image here on the show, you see the green crystal on the base.
Yeah,
that's actually magnetized so that I can put different crystals of different colors on the bases as my squad marks.
That is genius. That is okay. That's a pro tip right there, guys. Take notes. All right, take notes. And Seth, I remember when we played a long time ago, you did something similar with your orcs. Was it different color? They weren't magnetized, but it was different color something.
They had different color armor. One unit would be red armor. One unit would be blue armor, one unit would be yellow armor. So I did some of that. I too am almost completed a first squad. I'm not as far along as you, Kicker, but the contrast paints definitely help speed things up. I am trying to minimize my mistakes because those are a little bit difficult to fix sometimes. But it's going pretty well. So I'm going to be grinding away.
You know what this means? We have a paint off here. All right, I challenge you. Who can get the first 2,000 points battle ready? I mean, I know we're waiting on some models.
Okay, I was going to go with who to chat vote was the better looking army.
Oh no, that's not fair. You are
because you took adult paint scheme.
I took adult.
I took vibrant, crazy space miners.
All right. There can be a 2-tiered competition here. Who can get their army done fastest and whose looks the best? All right, that sounds great.
So, Kicker, why don't you take us into the industry news and let us know what's been going on?
Okay, guys. As everyone knows, Votan dropped last weekend, so everyone's got their models, they're building it, they're painting it, they're having fun. But there's some new stuff. We have this really cool commemorative mini that was released. I think it's a Black Templar killing an orc. I don't really know.
And when does that mini come out, Kicker?
On the I don't know.
It comes out for Warhammer Day, which is in October, which means Orktober.
Orktober, yes. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a big GW preview that same weekend because they're going to be announcing a lot of fun stuff. Yes, that is the big commemorative mini. Are you getting it? Because so the mini is really a Space Marine killing an orc. Does that hurt your feelings, Seth? How do you feel? I mean, as an orc player, is this something that you
assume that orc is dying? How do you not know that orc is not cackling maniacally as that Black Templar comes in too close, and then he just grabs him with the claw?
There we go. There we go. He's just playing possum or something. I love it.
Exactly. Orcs are well known for their ability to play possum.
It is a pretty cool little mini diorama, a little side project, regardless if you're a Space Marine player or an orc player. And everyone loves collector's edition minis and limited stuff. Yeah. I want to talk about Curse City, though. Curse City is coming back out, which is huge. Curse City sold out extremely quickly when it first dropped. This is that, I guess, fantasy-based dungeon crawler style game with amazing minis. So, Seth, did you buy a Curse City box? Come on.
I did not.
You did not. Well, you missed out. I mean, the box was amazing. I got it just for like the 8 or 9 heroes that came in it to use it as conversion fodder. And I was able to resell all the other bits and pieces because everyone wanted those minis. They had like undead stuff, a bunch of vampire stuff. So it's a pretty cool box set, even if you have no desire to play the game, just because you get, 40, 50 different gorgeous minis. The mini of the month, if you're going to local GW stores, is actually a Cursed City mini for October. So you want to check that out. Yeah. And I don't know how they're really going to do that. I mean,
very Halloweeny themed.
Oh, cool. Right. Very Halloweeny themed. And it's going to be kind of interesting because you could show up with like a tiny little like dead, like undead zombie or like a giant ogre, thing. So quite a range that they'll be giving away there. Yeah, dude, for Halloween, are you doing anything for Halloween, Seth? Just throwing it out there.
Haven't planned that far ahead in life, that's over a month away.
No, we got plenty of time. Well, New Underworlds is coming out as well. This is a massive box set with 2 new armies. I know, Seth, you played a little Underworlds. I have not played Underworlds. GW's really pushing this one. They're really excited for it. Looks like it's a kind of a new revamp. It's a new season. It's the Gnarlwood. So I don't know. Well, but we should hopefully be trying that out at LVO for sure, having some free Underworld on Thursday night. And Kill Team. This is really, I'm so stoked for this. Kill Team.
You're getting kind of into Kill Team, aren't you?
Man, I've been playing it for the past 3 weeks now and loving it. I mean, I still love 40K.
I don't know if you've told the folks at home, but you, despite your job and your life commitments, you do try to get out once a week to play a game, right?
Yeah. I was at at the tournament this week, and people are like, do you actually ever play? I'm like, yes, I play once a week. I love 40K, and I guess by association, Kill Team now. I really like. I mean, I'm not as competitive as a lot of guys, but I mean, Cruisehammer was so much fun. I got to play every day if I wanted. It was fun. I don't, Seth, between you and I, you would kick my butt as you have done now twice. You kicked my butt so much you even managed to embarrassingly say tilt me or get me tilted. Like I was like, what the hell? Like seriously, you're a very good player. I am a decent player, but I do enjoy the game. Kill Team is fun because it's a game that I can play on a weekday when I don't have that much time. But more importantly, I get to play with like factions that I just would never really commit to. So I have a crew team and I'm having a blast with it. Seth, we need to play some Kill Team. We got to play some Kill Team. All right, sweet.
Well, if only we were going to be at an event maybe in the near future together.
Which one are you coming to SoCal? Are you coming to SoCal?
I can't make SoCal, but we
got LVO. We got LVO.
We always have LVO.
We always have LVO. Speaking about Kill Team,
though, we need a shirt that says that.
I love it.
We always have LVO, brother.
So speaking about Kill Team, though, what got released today, which got me all excited, was that all the new Kill Team armies, all the Kill Team squads, I guess, now have rules for 40K. And I was waiting for that. So the new crew have rules for Tau. They should have rules for like all Crew should be able to play in every damn faction. Let's just be honest. They're mercenaries. Like you should be able to play them in your Imperium, your Space Marines. But that's another story for another day. But the Imperial Breachers, they got to play with, all Imperium armies, which are really cool. They have a little notation in the rules saying that they can join any faction without breaking those factions' rules. That's Imperium. So I'm like, yes, that's cool. I love when I get to see kill team squads or any realistically any game system that GW play creates models for. I like there to be crossover, so that's really cool. And kill team also got a balanced data slate, which is it's nice to see them giving updates to that. So obviously 40K gets its data balanced slate, which we should be seeing one in the future again, but it's nice to see that love going to other game systems as well. Seth, do you have I'm just gonna ask you now, man, do you have some jank of the week? You want to share some jank of the week?
I do have some 40K jank of the week.
All right,
courtesy of our lovely producer, the Demons player. Kicker, what are you drinking? Please tell me it's not that cayenne pepper
this
water.
is a full gallon of sweet tea. I am born and raised in Louisiana, and I like my sweet tea.
All right. I don't know about that southern twang there, but
yeah, I can't do it.
The jank is the new Demon Codex that's out in the wild now has a locust that allows you to deep strike, but the distance away from your enemy is based on the enemy leadership. And in and of itself, that could be powerful into certain armies. Orcs are base leadership 6. A lot of NID stuff is like leadership 5 or 6. But then there's armies out there like, Custodes that are like leadership 10 or 11. You're like, oh man, that's worse than 9 inches, right?
Terrible.
Well, they also happen to have a few modifiers. If any demon is within, I believe, 6 inches, you get a -1 modifier to your leadership. And then Bellicor also gives out another negative leadership modifier. So you can have some units that deep strike pretty closely, which makes really interesting scenarios where if you're trying to screen out a backfield or something like that, but they're able to get those modifiers onto you, they could squeeze that locust unit into some pretty tight spaces.
That's really good. So, yeah, I mean, Seth and I, we always talk about how powerful deep strike is as a tool. It keeps your opponent honest, and now demons are really getting a way to take advantage of that. No mistakes you can't make any mistakes against that. Seth, have you been playing any of the new demons at all? Have you played them?
I've played against them, but I played against them with Votan.
Oh, okay, with Votan, you're invincible at that point. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Guess you won that one. All right.
I might have played against a particular producer we have.
Oh, running his team.
Yeah.
Guys, on the Frontline Gaming events, products and whatnot, I do want to talk about the MCP terrain we talked about last week. Frontline Gaming is making some full color MCP terrain.
Sweet.
Yes, it's going to be gorgeous, but they did not want to release it this week as promised. I'm sorry. I was told it was going to be out this week. It's not. It's going to be out in the next 2 weeks. They're going to definitely have it for SoCal. I know that the MCP, there's a LVO qualifiers for MCP at SoCal, and they'll be using some of that terrain.
Nice.
So check it out. Also, this past weekend at the Las Vegas team tournament, we did these really sexy custom objective markers. I think you saw them, Seth, right?
I saw some posts up about them. They looked pretty good.
Absolutely gorgeous. Since then, I've been bombarded with requests to make them for other teams that didn't even go to the Las Vegas teams. They just want these cool markers. So shoot me an email, events@frontlinegaming.org, and I will see what I can do. Note that it can't be like one set. We got to do a minimum of 10 sets. It might be as 15. The teams in the production team still trying to figure that out. But if you and your team want really cool objective markers, shoot me an email, events@frontlinegaming.org, and I will try to help you out. Also, on that same note, dice. I'm just gonna say it right out there. Chessex, yeah, they can make you some okay dice, but you want some totally custom, badass, sweet, whatever the hell you want kind of dice. We can make this for you as well.
We need signals dice.
Yeah, well, so we make. Yeah, we do need signals dice. We really do. Frontline Gaming, for all of our events, those really sweet dice you get at when you either buy the custom dice, or if everyone gets a free die or two. Those are 100% custom made for us by us, and we can do the same for you and your team. Or
do you hand carve each die?
Yes, myself.
We've locked. No, we locked Leo in a basement somewhere, and he's just hand carving. That's why you don't get to see him at events as much.
Exactly. Anymore. That's why Leo is no longer going to be coming to events, is because he's staying.
He's in a basement carving dice.
Dice. Yes, yeah. Seth, do you want to just jump in really fast and talk about what's going on in the FLGN? I mean, I could talk about SoCal. SoCal's coming up. I don't want to I kind of lost track of notes in case you didn't realize that just now.
Yeah, I noticed.
SoCal is coming up later this month, and I wanted to let you guys know that we have a bunch of the new color terrain. So people have been talking. Terrain has been a big issue throughout 9th edition. It was a big issue in 8th edition as well. But terrain always seems to be one of those things people are very passionate about. And Frontline Gaming has a new guy, Mike Gandolfo. He's our new Frontline Gaming staff member, and he has been working around the clock, nonstop, assembling the newest terrain, the corrupted set of ruins we have. That is the most optimal 9th edition terrain set out there. It's one that we had a lot of at LVTT, and we're making it nonstop so that we can have as many of those ready for SoCal. So at SoCal, expect to be playing at the newest, greatest ITC terrain set that we make. Woohoo!
You know, I think it would be interesting, Kicker, if you had it, because it's very chaos themed, that terrain, right?
It is.
I think chaos, a bunch of chaos themed terrain in an October event, that could be kind of cool.
We're doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
right now we just decided we're doing it on purpose. Well, man, I wish I would have thought. Dude, Seth, you're a genius. I got to loop you in more when we start discussing stuff like this.
Just get some the white fiber fill for pillows, and then you can just kind of stretch around like cobwebs all over the stuff. Yeah.
We will have a PA system playing Halloween music and songs and noises and stuff the entire time.
Little fog machines.
Yeah. I mean,
all of the FLG staff in full costume.
Nobody is getting a challenge coin at SoCal. They're getting one of those little cute pumpkins you can see at the grocery store. So that'll be the gift with purchase.
No, the challenge coin is a pumpkin. It just instead of the logo for SoCal, it's a pumpkin.
It's just a pumpkin. All right. Seth, take us into the FLGN. What is happening this week on the network?
This week, well, as always, you have the Thursday show, another stalwart pillar of the FLGN community. But this week, our lovely producer Dickie hopped on over to Grim After Dark to help them produce a Dickisode and really raise the bar for that crew. Now, I did watch because I wanted to encourage them to really kind of improve their abilities and really kind of grow as a show. And they are just maliciously attacking me, Kicker. I really had to sit there and think this week, why did they attack me so much?
What did you possibly do to them?
And part of me was maybe have you seen Ted Lasso?
Yeah. I mean, okay, parts of it. I've not seen the whole season.
Okay, well,
the whole series.
There's 2 seasons, buddy. Get with the program.
There's
a very interesting quote in the first season where it's "Don't be judgmental, be curious."
Yes.
And I was like, I wonder if these guys just aren't curious. They're not trying to learn and grow. And it really made me, instead of being defensive and being upset with them, really felt, kind of hurt for them, that they're not trying to grow. So I really think we as a network just all need to support Grim and help them grow as individuals. And maybe one day they'll look back on their past behaviors and realize that maybe, just maybe, they could have been a bit better.
Yeah. If you guys see them at any one of the events, just go give them a hug. They need your support.
Everyone should be hugging John Quinnell and Danny McDevitt constantly at all events they're at.
During mid-round,
if they're gonna go get some food, if they're trying to talk to a spouse on the phone,
if they're in the bathroom taking a leak, just give them a big hug. It's okay.
Yeah, I think they're gonna appreciate it. So, Kicker, our main segment tonight. Let's get into that. This is Kicker's first time, everyone, going to a team event. The LVTT was the first team event the Kicker was ever able to attend.
No, let's be clear. I'm not playing. I am managing the event. You're
managing, but last year you did not. You weren't able to go to the LVTT. You had other obligations. So this is the first year that you got to go to the LVTT. This is the first team event. I'm interested because Kicker, the internet keeps screaming it. Team format is the best format of 40K. And I want to know, buddy, if you agree to that.
Okay, so I got to tell you, man, everyone and their mother, all the talking heads, all the pundits, and even just the average Joes, all that have gone to a team tournament say team tournaments are, I'm just going to drop the F-bomb, fucking amazing. That is the way that you should be playing 40K.
There's our one F-bomb for the show.
Yeah, that's our one F-bomb. Yeah, check it, market, right? Seriously, everyone's talked about how this is the epitome of 40K. This is 40K at its finest. This is how competitive tournaments should be. And honestly, I just thought you guys are full of shit. Whatever, move on. Single events are, more popular for a reason or more common for a reason. I really could care less what everyone was saying until this weekend when I saw the team tournament firsthand and how that did roll out, and I'm blown away. Like I am just that's what I want to play. Like I want to go play a tournament now that's a team-based tournament. The format was awesome. The camaraderie there was just insane. Let's just go down some of the pros, right? Because I was like watching this from a neutral point of
We'll
view.
pro and con it. What's the pros,
Pro and
man?
con it. First of all, you've got friends on vacation together, right? So you show like you're like first of all, hanging out with your friends is fun, but now suddenly hanging out with your friends in Vegas or wherever is that much more fun. And you have this kind of cool built-in friend network. You show up. If your team plays, you may play against Bob from another team from say Nebraska, but as soon as you get to know Bob, then you immediately know all of Bob's teammates because they're going to all come and hang out. So like you saw quickly teams growing. So went from a group of 5 guys to only 10 guys all hanging out and being best friends. It was really cool, and I felt really lonely because I didn't get to hang out with a team at all. And and then guys, honestly, there was less bullshit taking place at the event. People I think it's either because they're playing with their friends or maybe the captain kept people in check, but people didn't lose their temper. People really, there was less instances of people getting frustrated or angry. Everyone was just really jovial and relaxed. And the few times that maybe tension did rise, clearly their friends or their teammates or their captain would step in and say, "Hey man, no worries, take it down a bit." It was so good, in fact, that this event was like almost mundane from a management or even for the judges' point of view, because we got kind of to sit back and let everyone self-manage themselves. The other thing is that's really fun is I loved seeing people get to kind of pick their poison in terms of who they want to go against, or like I personally hate playing against custodes. I know that no matter what I play against custodes, I just get butthurt. I'm like, no, this is just not for me. Don't like it. No fun for me. And you could see that relieved a lot of people's pressure. They got to play, or at least try to dodge a lot of their matches that they just didn't want to play, whether they're not capable of winning or just not enjoyable. In general, people were just having more fun. The entire tournament was a competitive tournament. You had amazing players from around the country there. But people were just relaxed and having fun, and the entire atmosphere of the hall from Saturday all the way through the award ceremony was way more energetic and positive than I'd ever seen before. Absolutely, amazed. Oh, and then logistically, having a captain is so much more efficient for us because you only have one guy. Like we said, only captains come to the registration. So instead of having 250 people bombard the desk at 8:00 in the morning, it was 48 guys slowly walked the way up there and meet with me. So it was way easier, made registration go way faster. I had one point of contact for multiple people. And the final pro, I had this in my notes. The final pro was uniforms. Come on, uniforms are awesome. You get to see people representing their colors. You gotta love it. Seth, you've played in a team tournament, right? Have you played?
Yep.
And your thoughts are? Am I missing any other pro? Is there something that kind of, as a player, maybe?
I mean, yeah. As a player, kind of one of the big pros is, if all right, sake of argument, I'm gonna be completely blunt here. I went to Cherokee and I dropped like the first game I played at Cherokee.
Yeah.
And I realized at that point, if I played and won out, there was like a slim chance I made the top 8. But really, after that first loss, I really wasn't, necessarily playing for any sort of placement. But I still had a fun time.
Yeah.
And I did actually win, I think, the rest of my games that event. But I really was just at that point, it was my shot at the top was over. Now I'm just here having some fun. You lose a single game in a team event, that doesn't mean that your team lost. That means that you lost, and your team can still win. And oftentimes with team events, there are a lot more draws, a lot more losses. So even if a team does lose or have a draw, it doesn't usually eliminate the team from a podium position. A lot of times, it's the uncommon team that manages to run the gauntlet. So it gives you something to play for, and it keeps you invested in the event, regardless of if you took that one rough loss.
I never thought about it from that perspective, man. That's really solid stuff. Solid stuff. Yeah. I really do like that. And I mean, I guess it removes some of the pressure as well too. I mean, you're like, I mean, if you're trying to like win the whole event and you lose one game, you didn't just totally screw it up. Do you think a captain's necessary? That's one thing I was trying to figure out, because some teams, some of the more Yeah. But some of the more professional teams that showed up at the Las Vegas team tournament had a captain. I know the guys from Utah. There was a couple teams from Utah, and Mario came by, and he was their team captain, jumping from table to table and hanging out. Kind of,
Well, it's just
team coach.
anytime you're trying to manage a group of people,
Yeah.
you need one point of contact to distribute information.
Yeah.
You need that one person that it's responsible for communicating with the other team for the pairings process.
Yeah.
You need that one person that was responsible for communicating with you, the event organizers. So it prevents miscommunications, and it makes a simpler, and you saw a simpler, more efficient way of working with the groups of people than working with the individuals.
Yeah, man, I just feel like an idiot, or not an idiot. I guess I gotta apologize, even though I never verbalized this. I gotta like say, hey, like all the guys out there that have been talking about team events and how amazing they are and stuff, they're just not that common. So I'm like, whatever, they're not that big of a deal. But after seeing this and these pros I just outlined, I mean, they're not only fun for players, but they were a lot easier and more enjoyable for us as the management, the organizer. So I hope to see more team events take place. I know throughout the weekend people were asking me, hey, when's the next Frontline Gaming team event? In all transparency, guys, we definitely want to keep on trying to do team events. We're probably not going to do a team event at that same venue. We could probably try and do something same time frame, same location, same city, same Las Vegas. But I have not signed a contract yet for 2023 at that venue because there's just too many other options. But I got to tell you, there were a few cons because you can't just talk about it, right? You can't just talk about the buzz. And
you got to learn something.
Seth, you know me, guys, listening to long-time listeners, I'm going to be pretty direct with you guys. So a few cons here. I noticed this happened the day before. I had already landed in Vegas. Like I was already there, and people I had 1, 2, 3 teams all of a sudden like spastically reaching out to me. We need a backup. We need a backup now. If one guy drops in at least the Frontline Gaming circuit or way that we're going to run it, you can still play in the team tournament, but you're just going to get a 0, for one of your 5 games, which obviously is not good. So you kind of do need 5
a lot
players.
harder to win the round.
A lot harder to win the round. So there's that added pressure. I would recommend that every team has a backup in case, so if you have a 5-man team, you have that 6-man ready to go in case something happens.
Yeah. And a lot of teams will do that in the form of a coach, which is someone that's just kind of running around, kind of helping with logistics while you're playing, but they're also that person that can step in and play if you need to, because if it's me, you, and sake of argument, Dickie and Val and we'll say John Cornell is joining us, and the 5 of us are going to an event, and one of us as a singles event, one of us can't make it. Well, maybe besides splitting the cost of a hotel room a little differently, it's not going to really stop us from going. But if the 5 of us are a team and one of us drops, that really can impact a group's weekend. So have some plans like that. Have a mercenary list. A lot of events, people will post up saying, hey, if you need a spare. In fact, that's what I did going up to ATC like 2 weeks before I found out I could go. And so I just reached out to a few groups saying, hey, if you end up needing a person because someone drops, let me know. And that's ended up how I got on a team.
Yeah, we fortunately this event was in Las Vegas, and guess who's in Las Vegas? Frontline Gaming's headquarters, and a few of our employees, Leo and Jake, were able to reach out to the local game stores and communities and say, hey, we need players tomorrow who can join, and we were able to fill up those teams, which is really cool. So all the teams had their full roster of players. Right. But one thing that unfortunately was unavoidable was having an uneven number of teams as a whole at the event. So normally, if you have 57 people playing, you're going to have one guy not play, but suddenly now we had 5 people not playing. We had an odd number, so there was always a team kind of just a team of 5 guys just sticking around, not getting to play. And I felt really bad for them. Of course they could play themselves, but we could have found 1 or 2 people to play them, but we couldn't have found a whole other team. So that's a little
and that's
rough.
Again, a function of a team. You have an uneven number of players. At a singles event, you have 1 person that gets a bye. Now you have an uneven number of teams, you get 5 people. So
And so I was so weird. I'm sitting here at the registration desk, and like round 2 is kicked off, and all of a sudden like 5 guys are just like hanging out talking with me. I'm like, you guys should be playing. Like I felt bad, like what's going on, and they explain, and I really felt bad. And I'm like, don't know.
So you got him some Panda Express, right?
Yeah, I got him some Panda Express. Yes, there was Panda Express directly below the hall, and I can tell you, Panda Express is mighty fine cuisine. Although, as Seth delicately put it, it gives you the was it the panda farts? Yeah,
Yes.
yes, I definitely experienced the panda farts throughout the weekend. But whatever, let's go let's go on. Oh, the other thing is team events are time consuming. I know this sounds stupid, but we're already at these halls all day long, and to add in more time so that you can do the pairing
Yep.
process
Between rounds. Yep.
makes the day a long day.
Yeah.
So there's two
It does.
solutions. Do you make it a 2-round day, right? Or do you keep it a 3-round day and just accept that it's going to be a longer day? What do you think, Seth?
I think it depends a lot on where your venue is. If you're out in the boondocks and there's nothing nearby, 2-round events sound, or 2 days, 2 rounds in a day sounds a lot better, so that we can make it back to where we're staying and get some food. But if you're at a venue that your hotel's attached and you have food nearby, a 3-rounder isn't bad because you can still walk to dinner and then walk back to your hotel room. So I think venue really makes the deciding factor for me there.
Yeah. That's
And
something
we
that
have in chat
Yeah.
From the beloved Tamagotchi Express that Panda Farts is the best team name ever. So I think when Frontline Gaming forms a 5-man team to go compete on the team circuit, it shall be Team Panda Farts.
I am on board, Seth. If you ever are looking to form a
And
team
our
with me-
custom objectives will feature a flatulent panda.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I've got the custom logo already figured out. It'll go great in an objective marker. Yes. Thank you, Tamagotchi.
It'll have to be an entirely Nurgle themed team, I think, though.
we can form a team. I love this. I love this so much. So yeah, overall though, it was a great experience. Some fun stories. I believe it was the one and only Brad Chester. It might have been someone else on his team, but I think it was Brad Chester.
No, it sounds definitely like a Brad Chester thing.
Brad Chester thing. Like he was walking around with one of those leather desk mats that you see at hotel rooms. Like he was just using it as his army tray. I guess he didn't bring an army tray, and so he's walking around with the part of the hotel room as his army tray. I'm like, you can't do that. That's not as bad necessarily as what happened at Texas, where people were using the luggage trolleys as their army trays and pushing away. And the hotel management came out to me at Texas, like, you can't take all of our luggage carts and use them for your
I mean, they can. They're just going to get yelled at.
Yeah. So we do a lot of events at Marriott properties, at Caesars properties, or other places that we've been going to for years and years. The Palace Station is not very familiar with what we do during our events, so a lot of their staff, security, the whole support network is like, what is going on in here? Like, why are all these grown men walking around with little miniatures? And that was always a fun conversation that I got to explain each morning. And as we were talking about, Panda Express is really good. I started to realize that having a lot of food options nearby is really good, so that you can have variety in case you want to avoid Panda Express's farts.
Yes, unless you're like, I wish to not have the Panda farts today.
Yeah. The food in the hall was really, really good, but it was basically just your standard chicken nuggets and cheeseburgers. And I
have no problem with chicken nuggets.
but I don't want to eat the same thing 2 days. Can you eat the same thing 2 days in a row?
Yes, I can eat.
Okay,
all right, so we're gonna tangent your kicker.
All right, let's do it.
So my desert island food, like if you were stuck on a desert island, can only have one thing to eat there, is pizza. I could eat pizza. And when I say I could eat pizza every meal, every day, I'm not kidding. I've done it. Not when I was in college, like you would think, but actually years ago, when my mother turned 50, she had a very large birthday party for herself, and we had pizza catered, and we ordered way too much pizza, and so we had half a freezer full of pizza that for a summer I was like,
fresh pizza, man.
Oh yeah, baby. And just lived off pizza for a summer.
I can respect that, Seth, that ability to just eat the same food, but I like a little bit of variety. Although, as some of you guys may know,
really, cereal. If you had to eat cereal every meal, would you?
I have I'm not lying, at least 30 different boxes of cereal in my pantry right now, and most of them are open because I pick and choose throughout the week. So variety. Although if you were on Cruise Hammer with me and the rest of the Frontline Gaming crew, you'll notice that I do eat a lot of chicken, but I always put different sauces on it, like teriyaki sauce, barbecue sauce, so I kind of mix it up, but a lot of chicken.
Right.
All right.
Well, in chat we have votes right now for New Mexico style enchiladas as an everyday meal. Oof. I don't know what the difference is between an enchilada and a New Mexico style enchilada is.
Everything tastes better in New Mexico if it's.
But that sounds. It sounds a little bit productive for me in terms of what it might cause. So
productive.
yes, that's the way I'm going to go with it.
All right.
We've
Well,
got votes for tacos and fried chicken.
I mean, that's
Mark
really good though.
clarified.
Tacos are a really solid choice.
Mark clarified that New Mexico style is green chilies.
Yes. Okay, well, definitely mine would be cereal, but but it had to be a mix of cereals. Like none of this, I can't just eat Cocoa Pebbles or Golden Grams.
Ooh, what if? Oh man, I think I know how to ruin kicker.
Do
What if
it.
we took like a garbage bag and just put 20 different boxes of cereal and opened up and dumped them in the bag and just shook the bag around and then just mixed all these different. You would have an aneurysm.
Yes, I am a little OCD when it comes to my cereal. I don't want to.
You'd be
mix my
sitting
Fruit
there
Loops
with a
with my
garbage
Kit
bag trying to sort them all out. Kill them.
All right, guys.
No one's gonna do that at LVO. I promise.
Let's please do not give me a garbage bag of mixed cereal at LVO. So I do want to wrap up our talk about a Las Vegas team tournament. Basically, about like I mentioned earlier, but how nice it was that there was basically no drama, not a single red card at this event.
Nice.
There was not really any confrontations, no issues. And I think it goes back to the concept that you're there with your friends are keeping you in check. Everyone's on their best behavior. Captains are intervening if necessary. So like, that's really kind of cool to go to an event. And I just sat down at the registration desk most of the time and didn't have to do anything. So except worry about my panda farts. Pretty wonderful way to spend a weekend. Seth, why don't you take us into the competitive 40K news?
So yeah, I've been, as everyone's know, away for a few weeks. So I've been keeping an eye on the stats, and we've kind of the folks over at StatCheck did a deep dive into the stats for September, and we are about as close to a balanced meta as we can get. We have no factions that are breaking that 60% win rate. There are a few factions that are a little lower on the win rate that could use a little bump up, like your AdMech, your Guard, your Space Marines. But overall, nothing that's really super out there in terms of power level that is just kind of dominating.
I think
I
that
know,
if you're
Dickie. I
watching
know.
our show right now,
Dickie
there
put some
looks
photos up in the background.
does look like Botan to
The
me.
balanced data slate is rumored to be very soon. I've been hearing as soon as tomorrow. But yeah, there is the we'll call it 100-pound space dwarf in the room that we all need to talk about. The Votan rules are very, very strong, and they're on the horizon. It's no secret.
Can we just because we don't have tournament data yet? Do you think that they're like? Do you think that they're actually overpowered, or do you think it's just the sky is falling people right now? Like, do you think this is actually a problem?
I've played about a half dozen games with them myself. I have observed a fair number of other games. I certainly any army can be built and played in a fashion that does not feel overpowered. I think that's certainly you could have someone that plays a softer Votan list in a either in list construction or in style of play that makes it feel like you got a game. But if someone really wants to take a Votan list and really take the hardest hitting stuff they can, it's damn near insurmountable. I mean, you can ask our lovely tech priest. I watched this beloved soul try for weeks to figure out a way around the Votan menace, and it's sometimes it just feels like there's no game to be played.
Seth, let's bring in our beloved tech priest right now, so we get his as the victim of this abuse. Let's get tech priest in tech to give us your experience on the
no pressure, tech priest Dickie.
I was like, how do I make this not sound they're really good. They're just really efficient at everything that they have to do in the game. The grudge tokens are like super hard to deal with. They shoot really well. They have lots of guns, and they have a really great melee threat with berserkers, as someone said in chat. So,
the only weakness to their game is their secondary plan. But if I'm honest, if your army isn't alive on the table, I don't care what secondaries I took. I won.
Yeah, beam weapons are a thing. Like beam, you have to plan for beam weapons. So
beams
you have
are very strong.
Make sure you're not behind other things.
But, can we? Because I'm really curious, purely for selfish reasons. Can a decent player basically just outmaneuver the beam weapons?
if you're smart, you won't get hit by a beam weapon because you won't have things behind other things. But that plays into maybe what the Votann player is trying to make you play into, right? So
I think the best way to describe right now kind of what is coming down the pipeline, and Dickie and I were in a conversation earlier today, and I'm gonna repeat kind of some opinions that were shared there. Right now, and I'm not saying that Votann is stronger or weaker than released Drukhari, but the gap between Drukhari when it came out, and I mean full unnerved Drukhari, liquefier spam, the gap between them and the next level down army, that gap is about the gap we're looking at right now with Votann coming out, without how everything sits currently in the meta. It's going to be a pretty big step for someone to overcome. You can have certainly some top tier players find a way to do it, but it is not going to be easy. So I am optimistic with the data slate coming that we might see some of those lower win rate fractions get a bump up. I certainly think that is doable for them. And I am hoping that GW is hearing the early reactions and might see some adjustment. I can't really think of, everyone's throwing around ideas game mechanic wise, what you can do about Votann. I certainly think, the knee jerk ban them is a little much, because if you don't have the data to say how out of line a codex is, you're never going to get the powers to be to make.
And it's not just the overall how out of line, but you can't ban them, because you need to give the opportunity to see what elements of the codex are the most I don't know, horrendous.
Exactly. We need the data to say this is the thing, and to really hone in where can we make adjustments in this codex to really bring them into line. To take, is our rules that we can change? Is it just Votann need to be, an extra 50% of points on top of everything, or something like that, or double the points, what do we have to adjust? What levers do we have to pull in this giant machine of balance to make those lists come into line with everyone else?
I wanted to talk about the ban conversation, and I know that's going around is this meme of Germany banned Votann. I got to be honest, Germany bans everyone. They didn't ban them, but they also generally don't play with codexes before they have a first fac. So
Germany is no FAQ, no play, and there are events that run like that.
But that makes sense, right? Like that makes sense. GW has been very responsive in updating codexes, so I kind of actually like that. Now I am, please, before you start bombarding me, I am not the guy that determines the actual rules or format at 40K. so don't email me that. Like that's our head judges. But personally, I really like the idea of, give it time for the codex to get a little bit more refined.
It's so hard. Like, you want people to play with their toys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just built a brand new army. You just painted a brand new army.
I have a friend that named Panzer that he's been on the Squatch train for since the rumors started a few years ago. He's been super hyped, and it was really sad to see that when the army came out and it was as strong as it was, that his drive to jump in and play that army was kind of, kicked in the pants, and he didn't feel like doing it anymore because he was like, it's not fun to play.
There's been people that have not bought Votann because of this, and that's a weird kind of they're too strong, I don't want to buy them. Is a weird thought, and I don't think we've ever kind of run into that before.
Yeah, and it's a shame because the models are gorgeous. It's a fun fact, it's a fun concept of a faction,
and it's always cool to have a new faction join the game. That's always going to put something new on the table that we haven't seen before.
So I'm sure that they'll be getting refined a little bit in the near future.
Does it suck that we're going to have to suffer with an unbalanced codex for a bit to get the data to say what needs to be changed? Yeah, but if we don't get the data, we don't know what to do. We can play one test game and try to make decisions, but if you've ever tried, and this is for my competitive friends in the chat here, if you've ever tried to play one game with your list and then edit it and then play the next game and then edit it and then play the next game and then edit it, you just keep chasing your tail trying to figure out what's the right list and combination and this and that and the other, and you never get anywhere. You need that 6, 7, 8, 9 reps on a single list to really get the feel for, was that just one poor showing with that list, or this is a consistent deficit and I need to fix it?
Yeah, well, it's going to be, obviously they're going to be shaking up the world. We have SoCal in less than a month, at the end, next month. So that's obviously a major tournament. There's other major tournaments that are going to start letting them play.
Lots
The
of
ruling for you, those in the chat and those listening at home later on in the week, the ruling at SoCal is pretty clear, and we updated the packet today to explain how Votan works. You can play models that are released already, but you can't play models that aren't released, even if you have a 3D proxy, because we don't know the actual size. So
and that has always been the judge's rule when it comes to conversions, is knowing the actual dimensions of the GW model to know that your conversion is appropriately sized.
Yeah. So I mean, if the models get released soon, the rest of the line, right? We know we have a couple vehicles and all the berserkers. Once that all gets released, we can start incorporating them into our tournaments. Obviously, they'll be in play at LVO, but we'll have plenty of time by LVO to see what GW does to adjust their rules.
All right, let's get into the ITC recap. We have some exciting news, Kicker.
Ooh, okay, I like news.
40K competitive track. There's a new number 1.
Ooh.
And it's an American.
Congratulations.
Number 1 this week, now that the Nova scores are in, Jack Harpster, dethroning David Galar, long time number 1, now bumped down to number 2. That shifts Vic VJ down to number 3, Manny Chima down to number 4, and Thomas Ogden down to number 5. Or he's been at number 5. Jack just moved up a bit. So congrats to Jack for taking that top spot. I have to ask the question now, Kicker.
Yeah.
Are we looking at yet another year of Art of War going to win the ITC?
I mean, it's certainly looking like that, right?
Or are our friends from across the pond going to come and try to challenge the Art of War dominance?
I would love that. Or I mean, let's get some Polish guys. Apparently, Poland is
those boys over across the pond. They certainly gave the Art of War guys a bit of run for their money at the old WTC. So, let's see if they can hold on to the ITC top spot or not. Moving on down to our hobby track. Number 1, our friend Jacob Thayer. Number 2, also our friend Dean Pritchard. Number 3, also our friend Derek Page. Number 4, also our friend Aaron Kelman. And number 5, also our friend Lou Rollins.
Look at all our friends. This is so wonderful.
Everyone's our friends, Kicker. But I believe you got some pictures of Dean. Dean has an updated army with an updated display board. Looking good as always, Dean. Yeah. We've got live editing from Tech Priest Dickie. Tech Priest Dickie, enhance Dickie, enhance. Look at it. It's so enhanced now. We got the kind of nice floating rock. I remember that Dean kind of has this coconut crab theme, this kind of speckled theme. His army's always looks really cool, and it's got UV reactive paint on it, so when you hit it with a black light, it glows. It's really cool. Yeah,
over the top.
Great job, man. Hopping on down to the AOS competitive track. Our beloved LSO AOS TO Gavin Greigar is still sitting there at number 1. Number 2, Anthony Trentinelli, another familiar name. Number 3, Jeremy Weisier. Number 4, Matt Beasley. And number 5, Ridge Hanna. And then heading on over to the AOS hobby track, our number 1 is still the mighty Robert Snyder, followed closely by number 2, Ricky Fisher, number 3, Matt Beasley, number 4, Jeremy Williams, and number 5, Evan Markham. And that is your ITC recap for this week. Kicker, final thoughts for the night.
Don't eat Panda Express, and no.
Or eat it in moderation. We're not here to just besmirch the good name of the Panda Express.
No, I think that, this is just life advice, guys. Be open-minded, I'm not talking about Panda Express anymore. No. Be open-minded. I really just did not consider the team format as something that I would get that exciting. And now my entire mindset has changed, and I'm working on the 23 calendar. And guys, the calendar is pretty much set for 2023, but I'm trying to see if I can squeeze in another team tournament or two.
And make sure that there is a Panda Express nearby.
What about you, Seth? What's on your mind? What do you want to leave our audience with for today? I
don't know, man. I just, I know right now, I live here in the Southeast, as you, Kicker, and a lot of our friends in Florida, are dealing with that major Hurricane
Yeah.
Ian. So I'm just kind of thinking about all them and make sure you guys are safe there. You know, I've kind of been out of the scene for a bit. I actually haven't played an in-person game since August, the beginning of August. Literally just pre-show. I got the confirmation that I have some time off at the end of October, and that I got a ticket for a local event. So I'm just excited to get back out there and play. I've missed the community. I've missed kind of hanging out with everyone. So I'm just excited to get back out there and see my friends and hang out and have a good time. Because at the end of the day, you know, we all try to play the game and have you know, a good showing and try to win. But at the end of the day, this is all about hanging out and seeing your friends. And that's something that I miss. So I'm just glad to be back with you guys.
No, sweet, dude, sweet. Well, we missed you, and I know everyone in chat missed you as well. So thanks for being back, Seth.
All right.
Take us out.
Well, that is all we have for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Good night, guys.